all you cool cats and kittens. I'm a casual enjoyer of Harry Potter. I've never been crazy about it, like, ever. I do want to preface this video with that before I really go into it. I like Harry Potter. Don't get me wrong. I have all the books. I have a bit of Slytherin stuff and a wand that I got when I went to Universal. I've taken the tests and stuff, but I'm not that deep into the fandom. I'm not, like, an insane fan. However, I do understand that it's important to a lot of people. That being said, I wanted to be respectful while I wrote this video and did my research, so I called in an expert. My good friend Milo is a big fan of the Marauders. So, everyone say thank you to Milo, and his socials will be in the description. Milo basically guided me to a lot of the really big and popular pillars of the Marauders fandom, such as this fanfiction, All the Young Dudes, which is like the Marauders Bible. So, my plan for this video is basically just say the things I did to get myself introduced to the fandom, introduce what exactly the Marauders are, point out some things that have never really made sense to me about the fandom, go undercover at one point, and essentially just become a fan of a new thing. Honestly, the premise of this video is that I was like really bored and I woke up one day and I was like, you know, I've already almost 100%ed Arkham Knight. I'm deep in the trenches of DC right now. It's time for something new. It's like that scene in Legally Blonde.
You think she just woke up one morning and said, I think I'll go to law school tonight?
That was me. I woke up one day and decided to be a Marauder. Well, gang, I figured I couldn't leave you in the dark about the entire premise of what I'm doing, so here's a basic rundown of the Marauders. The Marauders are 4 boys that were basically the precursors of Harry, Hermione, and Ron, and essentially before that golden trio, there were the Marauders. They consist of Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, Peter Pettigrew, and James Potter. Supporting characters during the Marauders era consist of Lily Evans, who later becomes Lily Potter in canon, Severus Snape, Barty Crouch, Regulus Black, Mary McDonald, Marlene McKinnon, and a few others who aren't too important, like Remus's mom and Sirius's cousins, and the rest of the Marauders family members. All of these characters do get screen time in the books and movies, if only briefly, so characterization of their future selves is fairly simple, which means it's not too hard to age them down, so you can write all of their personalities as they would be when they were in Hogwarts as students. Characterization for the main 4 Marauders, I'd say, is fairly spot on, especially considering what little we see of them in canon. The Marauders are the creators of the Marauders map, which displays where every person in Hogwarts is. They learned how to become animaguses, which in Harry Potter is like shapeshifting into a certain animal. And the reason they did this is because their friend Remus is a werewolf, and they wanted to keep him safe during full moons. James Potter could turn into a stag, Sirius Black could turn into a dog, and Peter Pettigrew could turn into a rat. Because of this, they ended up with the nicknames Prongs, Padfoot, Wormtail, and Moony. That's basically a crash course on the Marauders. To get myself in the fandom, I started out with what I knew and reread and rewatched all of the Harry Potter books and movies, including Fantastic Beasts, even though I literally did not need to do that. So as you can see, a lot of work went into this video, so subscribe so I can profit from it, please. Please. After that, I looked online where the best place to start in the Marauders fandom was. I watched the Curtis Connor Harry Potter video, which has the Marauders mentioned in the end of the video a little bit, and that all led me to All the Young Dudes, like I said earlier, is where most of the characterization and headcanons for the Marauders come from. It's a fanfiction with 188 chapters, and it's by Miss King Bean on AO3. It took me 4 days to finish it. I enjoyed reading it. It was interesting. A few parts of it had me gagged. There weren't that many typos, and all in all, it was pretty good. I see why this is, like, heavily revered by the Marauders fandom. However, it didn't really get me into the fandom. I have to be honest here. I'm really with Wolfstar. I know it's the biggest part of the Marauders fandom and it's a big reason why people are in the fandom, but I generally just don't like it that much. I also don't really like Jegulus all that much. I'm all for rare pairs. You know, I ship Mirko and Fiyumi from MHA even though they've, like, never interacted, but I genuinely just can't see these characters together. There's like no chemistry there in my opinion, and I'm like a big Fudanshi, okay? So like, don't come at me for this. Anyways, All the Young Dudes, it's a good fic. Written well, well thought out, and it's famous for a reason. And I appreciate that they didn't end up putting Remus Lupin and Nymphadora Tonks together because that is an evil age gap. 13 years. Yikes. It is genuinely a well-written fanfiction, apart from a few typos, so I don't want you guys to say, oh, ChilliDaCat hated this fanfiction and thought it sucked, and that's why they don't like the Marauders fandom. No, I never said that. I liked it. It was a good read. Please don't go twisting my words at all in this video. If you have a specific question, please leave a comment. I read all of the ones I get, and if I want to answer your question, I probably will. I'd like to say I'm generally not a fan of J.K. Rowling, but I don't hate her. I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion, honestly, and if it doesn't align with mine, that's fine. I don't personally care that much. I'm less of a fan of her because she named the only Asian character Cho Chang, and the only black character Kingsley Shacklebolt. Are we serious? She didn't really write the Marauders though, to be honest. That was all the fanfiction writers and the fandom, so that is all I will say about her. I digress. I'm going to be so honest with you. At the point that the Marauders fandom is in right now, it's not Harry Potter anymore. Genuinely. This is just some other amalgamation that uses the characters' names. All the source material, all the little ticks about the characters aren't even canon. The entire fandom is made up of headcanons, and the fandom shared brain rot. And that's fine, really, but it's not Harry Potter anymore. And it's riding off the coattails of another series. And sure, the characters are from that series, but none of the stories are. I think it's fine to like the Marauders, but at the point that it's in, it shouldn't be considered a subsection of Harry Potter when it's its own thing. When people say they like Harry Potter, I will not assume they're a fan of the Marauders. I'll assume they like the Golden Trio and probably had a phase where they watched Drarry versus Hermione gotcha rap battles, which is honestly kind of real of them because some of those were fire as. If you say you like the Marauders, honestly, I will probably assume there are crumbs in your bed. That was a little mean. All the Marauders fans I know are really nice. And like I said earlier, and like I say in all my videos, it's fine to like what you like. Please don't let me sway your opinion of the things that you like. I make my videos for me, on things that I want to talk about, and this video isn't targeted in any way. I understand that Harry Potter was a staple of these people's childhoods, and being a fan of the Marauders is a way to reclaim their favorite series without having to support the creator. But please, for the love of Pete, don't call it Harry Potter. The Marauders fandom has its own source material, its own inside jokes. It's a fandom in itself without having to be a subsection of the Harry Potter fandom. It's kind of annoying that a fandom so dead set on separating itself from the creator won't even separate itself from the main fandom. I am back in the building again. And by building, I mean Twitter.com. I decided to make a fan account to really try and see the dirt between the nails of the Marauders fandom. I decided to use the name Lily, not just because I love her character, but also because the L in Lily stands for liar. And I am a liar today, because I am undercover. The username part was harder because I've used the same 3 handles for everything I've done since I was 7 years old, and I didn't want it to be distinctive, so I just looked up a username generator. Not my proudest moment. After a while, I ended up with Lily Satellite. Yeah, dude. That goes hard, actually. Welcome to the world, Lily Satellite. Yay! Lily is going to be 13. She will have this splat emoji in her name, the new Apple splat emoji, along with a flower, and maybe a telescope. For the profile picture, I just found a cute picture of young Snape. I added a background of this flag on it, because you know what? I'm allowed to headcanon the character that I play. And then I added an Olivia Rodrigo quote in the bio from the song Get Him Back, and for the final touch, I put, biggest Lily Evans fan ever! So hopefully people will believe that. And now, we have Lily Satellite. I mentioned some other things I like, because I can't just be a Marauders fan. And for my first post, I just made a simple looking for mutuals post. Left it at that, and I also made a straw page. I asked to be a bunch of people's mutuals, told Milo about the account, and I will leave it at that until tomorrow. Day 2 of the fan account. Morning time update. I have 5 mutuals, which actually isn't that bad. I asked a bunch of people if they want to be moots, so I guess they'll get back to me. I tweeted a couple more times for different characters I liked a lot, and honestly, just a bunch of stuff for like an hour. I also joined the Marauders community on Twitter, so I guess we'll see, honestly. I'm only doing this for 7 days, and by the end of it, I hope to have seen some crazy stuff. Update, at the end of day 3, I have 12 followers. I updated my bio a bit, posted some more about Lily Evans, and requested to join a Wolfstar group chat. I have also started publicly slandering Jegulus on main to stir up a little bit of drama. So we'll see what happens. Day 4. I have 15 followers, which honestly, that's fine. But I need to post something so dramatic, so earth-shatteringly controversial that I am instantly canceled. So I basically just started slandering Regulus Black. And then I hopped on some of the current discourse in the fandom. And then I decided, why the not? Day 5 is gonna be Lily's birthday. Do I feel bad for lying? Yes, I do. But I am undercover, and I am playing a role. So, I made a post this morning with Guess the Difference, where you change your age in the bio and like nothing else, and then added a couple party emojis to my name. My plan for today is just tweet a bunch of stuff. And for about an hour straight, that's exactly what I did. I just cooked up whatever controversy I could think of, which was mainly just slandering certain characters. And then I got locked out of my account at the end of day 5. So I didn't record for a day while I was recovering it. I ended day 6 with 22 followers and woke up with 23. It's the last day of being undercover, and I'm about to be added to a group chat, which did end up being boring. And the final stat of the week, 27 followers. Not bad for just 7 days, honestly. And to break the news that this was an undercover account, I uploaded this image. This was a really fun social experiment. Can you just confirm that you consent to this interview?
I consent to this interview.
Do you consent to this interview?
No! Yes, of course I do.
Do you consent to this interview?
I fully consent to it.
Since December of 2022, I think.
I've liked the Marauders for a while, but I've gotten into the fandom, I'd say, just over this last year. I'm 17, so 6 years.
So, my TikTok For You page had been very adamant that I was into Marauders. I moved to Twitter because I was more familiar with Twitter, and that's where I found the Marauders Twitter.
TikTok. I saw them on TikTok, and I saw all these edits, and I'm like, whoa! That's so cool. Those are the people from Harry Potter. Well, I used to be in the Harry Potter fandom as a small kid, like when I was 8-10 years old. And I joined an app called Potterhead, which is like about the Harry Potter fandom. And people spoke about the Marauders, which led me to later on look it up. And I went down the rabbit hole.
I've seen artists who have apologized use Nazi symbols on accident because they were following J.K. Rowling's signs for the Prisoner of Azkaban. I've seen racism, homophobia, transphobia are all very rampant, along with misogyny. Either the female characters just completely get ignored, dumbed down, or they get blamed for everything. It was as if the female characters were seen as an outlet to take out everything so that their gay ships could win. And when women would speak out about this, they sometimes get death threats.
Some of the ships I've seen, yikes, like Regulus Black x Umbridge. Who is doing this? It was awful. I mean, there's always the like NSFW side of the fandom, which every fandom has it, sadly. And it sucks balls because most of us are like teenagers. One is people shipping siblings or other family members. Like, that's incest. There's a people doing ships again, but pedophilic ones. That's horrifying. Why are you shipping like an 11 to 17 years old with his t-shirt? That's scary. And the last one is the overall sexism that can be found in the fandom.
I see a lot of myself in some of the characters in a lot of different ways.
I'd say for me, I just think they're so cool. But then when you've got these like characters who like grew up in the 70s, I love the 70s music. And they all have like their leather jackets and they're like smoking cigarettes. I want to be that cool. Like I want to wear my leather jacket and go around listening to 70s music while I do magic.
The entirety of the fandom is based off each person in it. Like everyone adds their own little thing and put representation.
If you are wanting to get into the Marauders fandom, be careful. Proceed with caution and try to make good friends.
Guys, I love my boyfriend. I just thought I'd say that. Safe.
I'm just gonna say that I hope your video goes how you want it to.
At the end of the day, some things just aren't for some people. The Marauders fandom is something I expected to really enjoy, especially considering my love for Harry Potter and the role it's played in my life, but it didn't really click with me. Despite all of the incredible talent of the members of this fandom, with their artwork and writing and acting, couldn't really get me to stay. I'm sorry to say that, honestly, because it is a beautiful, diverse fandom, and everyone I've seen and interacted with has been so kind and so talented. All the friends I've made, I'm really sad to see go. It's really interesting to me how you can't just choose your hyperfixation. This was a fandom perfectly tailored to me. Something akin to things I've loved in the past, but I felt nothing towards it. I'm sorry if that outcome wasn't what you expected, because it's not what I expected either. In conclusion, if you're big into the Marauders, that's great. It's not for me, but I'm glad you've found something you can enjoy. And after all, from the ashes of Harry Potter, a new and exciting phoenix has been born. The Marauders fandom. Anyways, guys, this was a blast to make. I hope you enjoyed because it took me a while. There was so much time and effort put into this. I had to read book-length fanfictions for this and 7 of the regular books on top of that, and I did give myself imposter syndrome at one point. But I did have fun. It was a hoot to make. Do kids these days still say hoot? Well, okay. Bye now. Bye-bye. And as always...